Said his house ain't a home and he's losing sleep. Wife cold as steel, vibe off track. Ask me how the hell to get his edge back.
Yeah, let's do it today, guys. I'm excited about this one. I got a really good sponsored video for you today. So my man emailed me and he says, the subject is making a comeback after losing focus. Hi, Paul. I think it would be great if you did a video on making a comeback after a major fall off. Something for guys who've lost their drive for a while and are trying to find their footing again. I'm in my early 60s, and I'll be honest, it's been tough to stay focused, especially when it comes to meeting women or just staying motivated day to day. So the reason why I'm so excited about this is like the timing of this is almost too perfect, to be honest. Like this literally goes hand in hand with a book I just finished reading and the book that I'm currently reading. Okay. So the first one, which I just did an episode on last week or 2 weeks ago, it's called Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. And it's all about avoiding drifting by having a definite purpose, right? And the one I'm currently reading is also by Napoleon Hill, but what's his name? William, is it William? Hold on one second. Let me let me get this right before I mess it all up here. Let's see here. It is W. Clement Stone. Okay, W. Clement Stone is the co-author. So it's with W. Clement Stone and Napoleon Hill. And it's called Success Through a Positive Mental Attitude, which also talks about having a definite purpose, but with an emphasis on PMA, so positive mental attitude, and as he calls it in the book. So anyway, the email goes on. There are times when I feel like I'm finally getting back on track, working out again, focusing on my mindset, putting myself out there. But then life happens. I get distracted, start feeling down, and before I know it, I've slipped right back into old habits. It's frustrating because at this age, you start realizing how fast time moves, and it can be hard not to shame yourself for not having it all figured out. So this is the problem of relying on motivation. Right. And a lot of us are like you might be motivated. Something lit a fire under your butt and you're motivated to do something, go to the gym, go find hot chicks, whatever, go get a better job, go to school, whatever it is, right? Something motivates you, but eventually that feeling, that motivation, it goes away, right? Because motivation is a feeling. It's fleeting. It comes and goes. Okay. That's the problem with motivation. Discipline is greater than motivation. It's something I learned from Jocko Willink. He did a phenomenal video about this probably 10, 15 years ago called Discipline is Freedom. If you guys don't know who Jocko Willink is, he wrote a phenomenal book called Extreme Ownership. And then he also wrote another book called The Dichotomy of Leadership. Okay. But a big part of that is having discipline. Discipline is doing something because you know it needs to be done, not whether you feel like it or not. You do it because it has to be done. Okay. What's his name? Mike Tyson said it really well. He was on a podcast once and he said, discipline is doing stuff that you hate, but loving it. Right. So discipline comes with a definite purpose. Okay. And what do most people call a definite purpose? Because no one calls it that. Napoleon Hill called it that. W. Clement Stone called it that, but no one calls it that. They call it intention, having an intention, right? And a part of having an intention is figuring out, what do you want, right? What do you want? And how bad do you want it? How bad do you want it? Okay. Have you ever sat down to think about what you actually want? Most people haven't. Most people have never sat down with a piece of paper and a pen and wrote out exactly what they wanted. Okay. And why you want it and how bad do you want it. most people have never done this. Even people that have goals, most people's goals are just sort of loosely floating around their head. They've never sat down and put it out in paper to cement it, right? So let me ask you, what do you want? How bad do you want it? I want you to sit down with a piece of paper and figure that out, okay? Don't worry about how you're going to get there, okay? Just figure out what you want and how bad do you want it. The how will come to you, okay? The next step after that is start to act with intention daily. So you might not know how you're going to achieve your goals yet, but that's the magic. That's the magic of the law of attraction, as they call it. Okay. You just have to know where you're going and believe that you're going to get there. That's all you need. Okay. There's 3 different types of goals out there. There's A type goals, B type goals, C type goals. Okay. A type goals are things where you already know how to get there. You've already done it before. You know, someone might say, "Oh, I have a goal. I want to have this really cool car." Well, have you ever bought a car before? Most of you, yes, you have bought a car before. So you know how to buy a car. So it's not really that hard, that miraculous of a goal, right? Now, a B type goal is a goal where you've never done it before, but you have a good idea of how to get there, right? So like my man here was talking about falling off of fitness. Well, you got there before. You got there before. You know how to get there. That's an A type goal. It's easy. That shit's easy. Okay. B type goal is something like, let's say you've been obese your whole life and now you want to lose weight. You've never done it before, but at least you know the fundamentals, right? You know to stop eating bad. You know you need to start burning more calories than you consume. It's a concept that you understand. You just have never implemented. That's a B type goal. A C type goal is something that's so big that it will blow your mind when you get there and you have no idea how to get there. Okay. C type goals are awesome. They're fun to do because once you achieve them, it really does blow your mind how you got there. Okay. Now, but that's why the how is not your job. Okay. And I'll get to that here in a minute. Okay. You just need to know where you're going and believe that you're going to get there. Okay. Now, write out your goals in present tense on a card like this, like on the back of a business card. So don't make it all intricate. Okay. Just make like statements. Okay. In the present tense as if you've already had it. Okay. So like I am statements are really good for this. So let's say your goal is to lose 100 pounds and be super physically fit. Okay. You can just write, I am physically fit and in the best shape of my life. Okay. Or something to that effect. So write it out on the back of a card, laminate it with some packing tape, and read it to yourself every day without fail, even when you don't feel like it. Okay. This is discipline, but it's also acting with intention. You're doing it because you know you need to do it, and you're doing it because you have a specific goal in mind, right? So read them in the morning when you get up and repeat them to yourself 5 times. Okay. Now, it's good to do that. Like if you're by yourself, it's good to read these out loud with intention, with some gumption, like you mean it, right? Think about for you religious guys, you might find this blasphemous, okay? But think about how God created the entire universe, okay? He spoke it into existence according to the Bible, if you believe that sort of thing, right? He spoke it into existence. Let there be light, and there was light, okay? You need to say your affirmations like that, with intention, with some gumption, right? Do that 5 times. If other people are around and you're a little embarrassed or whatever, that's fine. Just read it to yourself. Okay. You can do that in your head. It works the same way. Okay. So do that in the morning 5 times. And then right before you go to bed, read them again 5 times. Okay. Now, during the day, if you find yourself drifting, and that's what we're talking about here, right? You were really good with your goals and stuff like that. And then you let yourself just fall away. That's what Napoleon Hill refers to as drifting. You just let yourself get distracted by stuff, right? This is one of the biggest tools of the devil, according to Napoleon Hill. If he was still alive, this would be a tool of the devil that caused you to drift. It's so easy to get caught up in scrolling on TikTok or scrolling on X or scrolling on Facebook or Instagram or whatever, time waster you can find. Okay. But if you find yourself doing that sort of thing, put this shit down, pull this out of your pocket and read your goals. That's acting with intention. Okay. Takes less than a minute. Okay. Now, when you read them, on top of saying them with gumption, I want you to try to imagine what it feels like. Try to make it real in your mind. Use all 5 senses. Okay. Imagine what it's like already having achieved that goal. What are people's reactions to you? What does it feel like? It probably feels pretty good. Probably feels pretty good to have reached this goal. Don't you think? I think it would have. So imagine what that feels like now. Like you've already done it. Okay. The more you do this, it's not magic. It's not woo-woo mumbo jumbo. It's not like the stars align and shit materializes out of nowhere. Okay. When you do this from a psychological perspective, you start getting more epiphanies. You'll start getting ideas, okay, of how to achieve these goals. You'll just get these random ideas. If I do this, it'll probably lead me towards that. That's how it works. You just get these inspired thoughts out of nowhere. Okay. When you have those epiphanies, act on it right then. Okay. Now, W. Clement Stone says to use what he calls the self-starter mantra of do it now. Everything is do it now. When you get an idea, do it now. Okay. Don't wait till tomorrow. Don't be like, I'll do that in a few hours. Do it now. Because you'll forget. You'll forget otherwise. I'm like that. Today I was riding my bike. I'm listening to the new book because the new book's out. Keep Your Bitch. I'm listening to it because I've got a PDF reader. I'm reading through Nurse Chick's edits. One of the things I've learned after having written 5 books now is that the editors still miss shit. So I'm listening through, trying to find like things that just stand out to me. Like what was I thinking with that, right? And I'm riding my bike, and I stopped my bike right then, because if I didn't stop my bike and pull out my phone and write down the things that I caught, I would forget about it, right? So you want to do everything right now. When you get these ideas, do it now, okay? Even if you can't immediately act on something because maybe it's too late at night, take the action of writing down what you need to do, and then do it the next day, okay? Do it when you can, but at least you're taking action right now to write it down. All right? The sooner the better, okay? This sort of thing is acting with intention. You often, if you read any self-help book, almost all of them talk about, having a purpose or acting with intention, but no one really quantifies what the hell that means. This is what that means. It means that you're every day you get up and you're working towards something. Okay. Even if it's just a little thing, you're doing it to get to there. Right. So this is acting with intention. Every day you wake up and you pursue your goal, even in small ways. For you, it might be as simple as going to the gym, even when you don't feel like it. Okay. Can't make it to the gym, you go for a walk. Do something that moves you towards your goals daily, no matter what. No excuses. Okay. Working on your mindset. Listen to an audiobook about mindset every day. Okay. Even if it's for 5 minutes. Do something that moves you towards your goal. Putting yourself out there, about putting yourself out there, you can't go to the public space to cold approach 5 women. Then get on a dating app and swipe for 30 minutes. Okay. Do something that moves you towards your goal. Anything. Make a promise to yourself. If you guys have ever taken my dating course, which I'll tell you what, just a little insider baseball. My new course, the Passive Dread Blueprint, has sold better than my last 3 courses combined. It like people really need help with their marriages, right? But I have a dating course too, if you guys didn't know. And in that dating course, one of the things I have guys do is, is write like oh no, it's not the dating course, it's the fitness course. I have a fitness course. It's a basic health and fitness course for you guys that don't know how to work out. In the fitness course, I tell you to write a promise to yourself. Make a promise to yourself. Okay. Now, I used to yo-yo diet and mainly yo-yo diet and exercise years ago, back when I was married. And I would go hard on the exercise and counting the calories, and I would be like super anal about it. And I would lose all the weight. And then I would go on like a family trip. And then I would let myself, go out of my routine. I'd be like, I'm on vacation. It's time to relax, right? Well, the next thing you know, I take a week off from working out. The last thing I want to do when I get back is work out. And the next thing I know, months would go by, years would go by, and I would gain all the weight back, right? Well, I let life get in the way, right? Well, back in 2016, I made a promise to myself that I would never let that happen again. Okay. I would work out. My promise to myself was I would work out at least 5 days a week, no matter what. Okay. Now, even if I travel, I still make a plan to work out. All right. And now sometimes my schedule's super hectic. Okay. So then I have to compromise a little bit. Right. But I'm still working out. I'm doing something to work towards that goal. I made a promise to myself. Okay. So maybe it's, I'm going to go to the hotel gym. Maybe it's, I'm just going to run this week. Maybe it's, I can only make myself go for a walk this week. I'm super busy, but at least I can go for a walk. Right. Sometimes it's just calisthenics in the gym, and I'll bring a bunch of resistance bands or something and throw them in my backpack or whatever, and then I'll just work out in the hotel room itself, right? I'm just doing something. Was it last year? I think it was last year. Last year I went to Orlando with my son, and we tried to keep a pretty tight schedule, and I wanted to keep it really fun for him and stuff like that. So I just was like, I'm just going to go for a run on the days that we're here. And so that's all I did. I just went for a run, and I made sure I ran I think it was 5 miles. I ran 5 miles, and that was my workout for the day. But I at least did something, and I didn't make an excuse about it. Okay. The promise to yourself is acting with intention. Okay. So make that promise to yourself. He goes on. Oh yeah. The promise to yourself is important because you don't want to let yourself down. You don't want to let yourself down, do you? Do you? Okay. Make a promise to yourself. He goes on to say, the hardest part is the embarrassment. Feeling like I should be on this by now. I know that's just ego talking, but it still creeps in. I've spent the last few months trying to work through that, identifying self-limiting beliefs, staying consistent, and trying to remind myself that setbacks are a part of the process, but it's easier said than done. Well, here's the thing. Beating yourself up is only making it worse because of the negative self-talk. It's really, when you're beating yourself up because you're falling off, that's negative self-talk. Okay. And negative self-talk is working the same way as your goal card, but in the opposite direction. It's working the same way. It's programming your subconscious mind for failure. It's programming your subconscious mind for failure. So if you find yourself ruminating and beating yourself up and thinking that you should be doing something when you're not doing something, doing what you need to do, instead of beating yourself up, shake it off, pull this out of your pocket and read it 5 times. Okay. Don't make excuses. Shake it off. Don't beat yourself up. Read your goal card 5 more times. Okay. He says, when it comes to women, that's another challenge altogether. I meet someone new and I start out strong, but then I get inside my own head. I'll overthink what to say, how to act, or whether I'm coming off as too eager. That's when the old insecurities kick in. It's like, I know what I should do, but staying grounded and in control when emotions get involved is where I slip. So this is where listening to certain audiobooks on repeat will help, right? Brother Omega in my wolf pack, this guy, Brother Omega, he's on a mission right now. Hey, talk about acting with intention. This guy's fucking killing it, man. Brother Omega is one of is just an inspiration in the group. He's on a mission right now to read the Holy Trinity of dating books. So if you guys don't know, if you guys haven't been following the podcast, my Holy Trinity of dating books is How to Be a 3% Man by Corey Wayne, Atomic Attraction by Christopher Canwell, and Dating Essentials for Men by Dr. Robert Glover. Okay. Those are the 3 books that when I wanted to snap out of this and I wanted to level up and get better with women, those are the 3 books I listened to on repeat. I've listened to Corey Wayne's book like 25 times. I've listened to Atomic Attraction and Dating Essentials for Men like a dozen times each. He's also reading No More Mr. Nice Guy, and I believe he's got Psychology Paradigm in his rotation. Okay. And he's just listening to these on repeat. Now he in his day job, he's a software developer, so he can sit at his desk with earphones on and just work on code and just listen to this shit. And he's literally listening to like 1 or 2 books a day, depending on how long they are. And he's just in the group. He's like, okay, just finished 3% Man again. These are my aha moments. And then he's like, okay, I'm on to Atomic Attraction now. I'm on to Psychology Paradigm now. And it's just fucking awesome to watch. This guy's on fire right now. Okay. The whole process of reading and listening to these books on repeat is to reprogram what's going on up here. Okay. I would recommend you do the same, brother. I would recommend you do the same. Okay. For the next 6 months, I challenge you to listen to this book, Psychology Paradigm, on repeat until you've heard it at least 10 times, at least 10 times. Okay. The more, the better. And if you get tired of it, because listening to me jaw on will get tired. I get it. Okay. If you get tired of it, break it up, listen to something else, and then come back to it. Okay. Like break it up with something that you find interesting, golf or fucking whatever, but come back to it after that. Okay. Do that for the next 6 months. You won't be the same man you are in 6 months. You won't. And that's how I designed this book. I designed it that way. If you read it till the end, the conclusion tells you like, this is the challenge. The challenge is to listen to it 10 to 15 times. It's something I learned from Corey Wayne, but it's also something that I learned from a guy named Bob Proctor. Bob Proctor, he passed away a couple of years ago. He read the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, who I mentioned earlier. He read that book for 60 years, every day for 60. Now, he didn't read the whole entire book every day. He would read like a page a day, right? But he did that for 60 years, ended up becoming a multimillionaire, ended up coaching tons of other guys on how to do this kind of stuff, ended up becoming super successful and famous. He was in the movie The Secret, right? He did that shit because that's how it works. Just listening to the stuff on repeat will fundamentally change your subconscious mind. And our results in life come from our actions. Our actions come from our thoughts. And 95% of our thoughts are habit-based. They're paradigm, right? So if you want to change your results, you have to change what's up here first. Because when you change what's up here, your actions will change. Those actions will change those reactions. Those reactions are what gives us our results in life. Okay? It starts up here. So I challenge you to listen to the book for the next 6 months straight. Okay. Do that. The reason why this book specifically, okay, is because it addresses overthinking and will program the stuff I talk about into your subconscious so that you act on it without overthinking about it. Okay. If your problem is overthinking, you gotta rewire that shit. Okay. You rewire that through repetition. Okay. All right. I'll drop a link to that in the chat if you guys don't have that. It's also in the description, by the way. I'll drop a link there. All right. He says, I guess what I'm looking for, Paul, is your take on how a man can rebuild his focus and confidence after falling off. How to push past those feelings of embarrassment, get back into action, and start showing up like the man he knows he can be. Like you can only do this by acting with intention, right? That's the only way you can do this. And one of the things that I've learned in the space is that a lot of guys have this problem. Okay. You're not the only one. Don't beat yourself up over it. Okay. You're not the only one. A lot of guys will do this type of stuff until they reach their goal and they think that they've reached a magical finish line. Okay. Now, when you're talking about your fitness, there is no finish line. The work never stops. When you're talking about your mindset, there is no finish line. The work never stops. When you're talking about being better with women, there is no finish line. The work never stops. Okay. Just because you got into a relationship, just because you put a ring on it or whatever, the work never stops. So you've got to let go of this idea that you're going to reach a goal when it comes to some of this stuff, right? The goal is improving yourself every day, 1% better every day. That's the goal, right? Now, you might have a specific goal around that. Like, I want to get to, 170 pounds, or, maybe you're trying to bulk up or something. You want to get to 215 or something. I don't know. Right. Maybe you do want to get into a relationship someday. So you got to act with intention to get to reach those types of goals. But those are just stepping stones along the way. Like, the work never stops with getting better with women to maintain that relationship, right? Like, to maintain the weight, once you get to your goal weight, yeah, you got to maintain it. The work never stops. Okay. So you have to do that by living with intention. You can only do that by rewiring what's up here and always work on it. Never stop working on it. That's your intention every day, is to always keep working on the stuff and be 1% better every day. All right, cool. All right, that's all I got, guys. Thanks for taking the time to read this, he says, and thanks for everything you do. I do this out of love, guys. Tune into the podcast tomorrow morning. It's going to be pre-recorded. The normal live stream is going to be pre-recorded. Brother Nathan from the Wolf Pack just dropped a phenomenal new book called Divorce is War. And so he and I got together. I interviewed him about it. So he's going to tell you all about that book. If you guys are heading towards divorce and you need a battle plan, this is the book for you. Tune in tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Eastern time. That's all I got. I don't see any super chats here. Let me see. We do have people in the comments though. Hey, speaking of the devil, Omega Hashir is here. This guy is phenomenal, man. Like, he I like to tell the story on the podcast a lot, right? Because when he first joined the group, this guy was like, he was one of those guys who, if you saw him in person, you'd be like, this guy's hopeless. This guy's hopeless, right? And I don't mean to shit on him here, right? Because this is what's so fucking awesome about this guy. He joins the group, and like shortly after, I remember this like vividly. He posted a video in the group, and he just got back from a date, and he had the worst fucking date in the world. This girl didn't give him the time of the day, and he was just like all brokenhearted about it. And I just remember like seeing the video, and I go, did you wear that tracksuit on the date? Because that's what he was wearing. He's wearing this fucking tracksuit, like he was some kind of like Italian mobster Goomba or some shit, right? and he's like, well, yeah. And then brother Mike Steele in the group, he goes, do you have those anime decals all over your car, like on the date? Like, and he's like, yeah. And we just like lit this guy up, right? In a good way. It was like positive feedback. He didn't get all pissed about it. He didn't get all butthurt about it. He fucking took some action. He started reading the material. He started losing weight. He started dressing better. He started working with brother Nathan, the guy who I'm interviewing tomorrow. He started working with him directly to start losing some weight. This guy fucking has lost a ton of weight. He's been killing it on the dating circuit, so much so that he's tired of all the pussy. And he's like, you know what? I don't like these chicks. I'm going to work for the next 6 months on my mindset and my physicality. And so he hired a physical trainer, and he's on this mission with the audiobooks to listen on repeat for the next like 6 months or something like that. And he's working with a trainer to get to like peak Omega. And he's just like, every day he's posting in the group about all this shit that he's doing, all of his aha moments. You can see the change in him, in his mindset already, after just only doing this for a few weeks. It's fucking amazing to watch. And him doing all this shit is lighting up the group. Like the rest of the guys are seeing this. A bunch of the guys have jumped onto the bandwagon. They're reading the material now. It's inspiring as fuck. Okay. This guy, man. If you guys want to talk with him, like join the group. Okay. Nurse chick's in the house. This chick, guys, let me tell you about this chick. Okay. Man, I'm out riding my bike today. 10 miles. I ride my bike 10 miles every day. Come back. She's not only just making me a sandwich, or the sandwich was already made, by the way, but it wasn't just a handmade sandwich. It's cold and shit. No, she grilled the sandwich. She took provolone cheese and grilled it so it was nice and crispy. Put that on the sandwich. It was ready for me with a cold drink when I got here. That's how they get you guys. Okay. That's how these women, that's how they trap you shit. They trap you with that girl game shit. Okay. She, nurse chick gets this. Hold on a second.
So naughty.
I'm going to come.
If she plays her cards right. Hey, what's up, brother? Eddie's in the house. Awesome. Thanks. Let's see here. Omega does rock. Omega says, I have to start putting my phone into a work focus mode and mute all notifications except for from family that come in from seven. Dude, I have to do that when I'm listening to audiobooks and I'm like out for my bike ride, because sometimes I get notifications that will just constantly interrupt Audible. It's like, and I'm like, fuck. And it's usually the guys in the wolf pack. I'm like, guys, shut the fuck up for a minute. I'm trying to work out. So I gotta mute the chat for a while, but that's how you focus, right? Omega says that date was awful. Yeah. And I remember the tracksuit. Yes, dude. How can you forget the fucking tracksuit, man? Omega, you burned that shit, right? You got rid of that because you wouldn't fit into it anymore anyway. All right, guys, that's all I got. Tune into the podcast tomorrow. We will see you hopefully in the live chat.
You don't fix the storm by folding yourself. She don't want sweet, she wants a man who won't bail. No handouts, no talks, no playing it safe. Earn your ground or get replayed.